is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Our top story tonight, life in prison without parole. That's the sentence Judge Stacey Lauser laid down against 27-year-old Cynthia Wilder on a charge of conspiracy to commit murder. Investigators say she helped her husband Richie Wilder Jr. plan the 2015 killing of his ex-wife Angela in Minot, along with a botched attempt to break him out of county lockup the following year. The state proposed a 25-year sentence with 5 suspended, though the judge doled out the maximum sentence. Cynthia will have the opportunity to appeal. Today's sentencing marks the end of a 2.5-year investigation into a murder that shook the Minot community. Here's a recap. Investigators found Angela dead in her Minot home in November of 2015. A month later, they arrested her ex-husband, Richie Wilder Jr., for the crime. In June, Richie was charged with escape following a failed attempt to break out of county lockup. That December, a jury of his peers convicted him of Angela's murder. That following May, Judge Gary Lee sentenced Richie to life in prison without the chance of parole. Later that month, police arrested Cynthia for helping Richie plan the murder and escape attempt. In November, Cynthia entered an Alford plea, contesting some of the details but admitting a jury would return a guilty verdict. Today, she received the same fate as her husband. Judge Stacey Lauser explained why she sentenced Cynthia to the maximum time in prison. Our Minot team picks up the coverage from the courtroom.
He's a good man. He's a good husband. He would never do anything that would hurt his kids. I stand by him.
That was Cynthia Wilder in December of 2016 after a jury convicted her husband, Richie Wilder Jr., of murdering his ex-wife Angela the previous year. Flash forward to the present, and Cynthia herself is headed to prison. Minot District Judge Stacey Lauser went well above the state's recommendation in ordering a life imprisonment for Cynthia for her role in Angela's death. This comes in an emotional sentencing hearing that included a playback of an audio recording of a conversation that Cynthia had with a confidential informant, where she admits to her role in Angela's killing.
If it was me, I would have gone back and cut her fingers off. I would have burned him. I would have lit the house on fire. I could go to jail for a very long time because I helped him.
In laying down her sentence, Judge Lauser invoked Angela's role as a mom.
Of all of her roles, it is this court's speculation that the role she was most proud of was being a mother. Because of your actions, Angela Wilder's children have forever been robbed of making memories, of sharing their joys, their triumphs, and their heartache with their mother.
Cynthia took the stand to plead her case.
I still want the very best for all of my children. I want them to be in a safe and loving home.
Still, Judge Lauser brought forth the harshest sentence.
As to count 1, conspiracy to commit murder, to a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Richie is currently serving his own life sentence after being convicted of Angela's murder. In Minot for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Joe Skrzyszewski.
Judge Lauser also forbid Cynthia from having contact with Angela's family, including the children. Angela Wilder would have turned 33 this September. Switching gears now, let's send it over to Henry. Henry, we had quite a downpour today.
Yes, we did. The showers mainly started along Highway 83 and then pushed eastward, rather thunderstorms at that, producing some much needed but heavy rain at times. That has pretty much moved out of here, but for the moment we got some clouds moving into the Williston area and Montana, where we have showers and thunderstorms. None of these are severe in our viewing area at this time, but notice we're going to take a closer look at these developing cells across Sheridan County and Daniels County later on in the newscast, because you know over the past hour they went from nothing to something. But we've got numerous showers across Macomb County and thunderstorms as well. So this is where we're going to be watching for shower and storm development for tonight. Highs today were in the 80s, Minot 79. Now you're down to 71. Bismarck 74, 74 as well for Glendive. For tonight, we're talking about lows in the 50s, light wind mostly out of the north, except for Dickinson, south wind for you, mostly clear, and some of you, especially the central part and eastern part of the region where you had the rain today. Some of you maybe look at some areas of fog as we head into the midnight hours and later. Also for Williston, surrounding areas into Montana, there's a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms, kind of like what we're seeing right now. I'll have your complete forecast and more on that severe weather potential coming up.
All right, thanks, Henry. A new online video game depicting a school shooter simulation has people up in arms. It was set to be released online next week, but now the company is pulling the plug. The demo for the game and information released say gamers had the option to play the part of a school shooter. Daniela Hurtado spoke to some who say the game has gone too far. Daniela?
Molly, this new game has people wondering what the developer was thinking. School shootings across the nation are sadly becoming more common, and a game like this, to many, is crossing the line. The shooting game Active Shooter allows gamers to choose between playing the school shooter or a SWAT member.
To me, it's in poor taste.
Nardello has been a gamer for as long as he can remember, playing a wide variety of things. He says this pushes the envelope.
There's video games out there that portray certain events or certain things that are violent, but they do it in a manner where it's a video game.
Some psychologists agree with this statement.
Kids don't realize when they have a difficulty with understanding and disconnecting reality versus play that things are permanent and things can happen that make life-changing effects on everybody.
More than 200,000 people signed a petition to prevent the game's launch. Many, like Nardello, are happy the game has been pulled. Nardello says he hopes this doesn't leave people with a sour taste about the video game industry. He says the actions of one does not represent the entire community.
A North Dakota judge is dismissing a complaint against a North Carolina company that handled security for the developer of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The state's private investigative and security board plans to appeal the ruling and to take it to the Supreme Court. The question is whether Tiger Swan provided actual investigative or security services in North Dakota without a license or just provided consulting services. A Holiday man has been sentenced to time served and 2 years probation for spitting on a Minot police officer. Last summer, 26-year-old Garrett Smith was stabbed in the neck and shoulder in a hotel room brawl. And authorities say as Smith was being taken to the emergency room, he spit on an officer. He pleaded guilty to lesser charges and was credited for the 44 days he spent in jail. He'll still have to pay $1,000 in court costs. Well, some are about 3 feet tall and others can fit in the palm of your hand. Drones are flying all over Fargo Civic Center today. Representatives from agriculture, construction, and cybersecurity are showing off their latest models. Drones perform numerous functions, including mapping, live streaming, and photography. Experts say conferences like this help get the word out about the industry and say it will continue to move forward.
There's so much going on, and we're still only on the ground floor, really, of what this industry can be and where it's going to be. So there's always something exciting, always something new.
The conference wraps up tomorrow. In Dickinson, the city is working on getting its curbside recycling program rolling. Andrew Horn shows us how much green it will cost to go green.
Recycling bins like these have been around for quite some time, where people drive up and drop their lawn clippings and other recycling. Now, the city of Dickinson is going to be starting a door-to-door service. It started with new residents asking questions.
We have a big influx from the boom of new people, and they came from communities that already recycled, and they wondered why it was that we weren't recycling.
Now the city of Dickinson will run its own curbside recycling collection program.
Locals here saw the need with our landfill needing to have a longer lifespan and just keeping some of the things out of the landfill that don't need to be in there.
When the new program starts, people will be able to recycle cardboard, aluminum and metal cans, foil, and plastics, except for plastic bags. You also won't be able to recycle glass.
I wasn't discouraged. I knew it would get there, but I just wanted to help out and get it started here, what I could for City Hall.
Sarah Kramer is one of the locals in favor of the program. When she moved to Dickinson, she couldn't believe something wasn't in place, so she started one, recycling what she could.
Once you know the information, once you know what you can recycle, it's so easy.
As for the bill, the 7,000 plus people getting collection cans will pay an extra $4.25 each month.
Shoemaker says the city plans to implement their door-to-door recycling program starting in October. Reporting in Dickinson for West Dakota Fox, I'm Andrew Horn.
Still ahead, the death toll left by Hurricane Maria could be 70 times higher than originally estimated. That story after the break.
And we're looking at our Minot Skywatch camera. Conditions are nice for now, but things are going to change, especially west of town.
A new study suggests the death toll in Puerto Rico from Hurricane Maria may be nearly 5,000 people. That estimation, a drastic difference from the government's original toll, which sat below just 100. Fox News correspondent Phil Keating has more from Miami.
U.S. citizens, wake up. These are your people.
Hurricane Maria killing more than 4,600 people in Puerto Rico after making landfall last September. That staggering statistic coming out of a study at Harvard University, alleging the death toll was 70 times greater than the official government report of 64. The study's authors say the feds made a substantial underestimation, while noting that the actual death count could still reach over 5,000. The governor of Puerto Rico assigning a team in February to determine the number of lives lost amid ongoing accusations that the government undercounted the death toll.
There really is no real logical explanation for us wanting to pin down the numbers.
The study attributing many of those deaths to months of power outages and lack of proper medical care.
If you don't have electricity, you can't use the medical equipment that requires electricity.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen visiting the National Hurricane Center Wednesday to receive a briefing on the upcoming hurricane season, which many in Puerto Rico say they are not prepared to face.
Literally, next week, hurricane season begins again. That is terrifying.
NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, expects a busy hurricane season with more than a dozen named storms, several of which will turn into hurricanes. The season runs from June 1st through November. In Miami, Phil Keating, Fox News.
Speaking of dangerous weather, fast-moving lava continues to plague Hawaii's Big Island. Authorities say the volcano has destroyed at least 71 homes and more than 400 utility poles. The equipment damage causing several hundreds of people on the parts of the island to go without power. And a fiery plane crash in New York. Officials believe the plane went down on the Northcote Drive near Spagnoli Road in Melville in Suffolk County this afternoon. Right now, there is no word on how many people were on the plane or the extent of their injuries. The incident is under investigation. Officials are investigating a large explosion that ripped through a UPS freight hub in Kentucky. At least 2 people were hurt in the blast. When the cause is still under investigation, police say the explosion was accidental. Fire officials say a tractor trailer with an acetylene tank, which caused for welding, exploded inside of the building. Former President George H.W. Bush is on the mend after another stint in the hospital. This time he was checked in for low blood pressure. The former commander-in-chief is said to be, quote, talkative and in good spirits while doctors treat him. His treatments are expected to take several more days, according to the spokesman. Roseanne Barr has had quite a week. A racist tweet she sent out got her show canceled, and now she's blaming it on Ambien. But the pharmaceutical company who makes the sleeping pill isn't having any of it. They released a statement saying, quote, people of all races, religions, and nationalities work at Sanofi every day to improve the lives of people around the world. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication. Also in pharmaceutical news, Allergan is recalling a type of birth control after a packaging error. Turns out they misplaced the placebo capsules, making them out of order, which could result in pregnancy. The mistake affects Tula soft gels. If you're worried about your pack and if it could be affected, contact your physician. Okay, time now to take a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Henry Blakes. 4.5 million Americans would die each year without life-saving blood transfusions. Approximately 32,000 pints of blood are used each day in the United States. So why doesn't everyone do it? Cynthia McLaughlin pitched in a pint today and found out.
Again, My name's Mary. I'm gonna get you going here, okay? If you need anything, please let me know right away.
Trypanophobia, hemophobia, the fear of needles and blood.
I've heard everything. And then on the opposite side of it, you get people who realize that, oh, well, my mom got blood, my dad got blood, I had to get blood, my daughter got blood, and now they don't see an excuse at all. How are you feeling?
Not bad. Mary says first-timers like me usually have the most jitters.
Okay, a really easy thing. Don't look, don't watch, don't pay any attention. I've got all kinds of fun blood facts that I keep people pretty entertained with. Pressure right there.
Another common reason to avoid blood drives is it's inconvenient. But Colleen Scott, who recruits donors, has a solution for that too.
A lot of times people don't have 45 minutes, an hour out of their day where they can come down to the center and donate. So as a recruiter, what I can do is bring the blood mobile to you.
12 units of blood were donated by KFYR TV, saving 3 times as many lives. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Cynthia McLaughlin.
Well, science has figured out the best way to get over a breakup. Researchers recruited 24 people in their 20s and 30s. Some had been dumped, others ended their relationship, but all were upset about it and still in love with their exes. Each person was given 3 ways to think about their ex. First was thinking of that person's negative traits. Second was to think about positive things unrelated to their ex. And the third was to distract themselves when they started thinking about their ex. Turns out, remembering the bad things helped the most in getting over someone. Veterinarians across the country are once again warning pet owners about the rise in canine influenza cases. If the illness is left untreated, it could have serious consequences for your pet, especially if the dog has already compromised their immune system. Early symptoms of the dog flu include coughing, lethargy, fever, and nasal discharge. And some viral video tonight to show you of an adorable start to your kindergarten day. Check it out. A teacher in Texas is teaching manners by assigning a greeter every day. Each child shakes the greeter's hand or hugs him before entering the classroom. The teacher says she hopes this will help students with their interpersonal skills for the rest of their lives. Henry, that's adorable.
Yeah, most definitely like stories like that. We're going to be waking up to temperatures near 60 degrees in the morning. Maybe a few showers around the northwest, Williston, into parts of northeastern Montana. Otherwise, yeah, the west, that's where we're going to be having that chance of late afternoon and evening severe storms. Then that threat pushes east into central and eastern North Dakota for Friday. But the weekend looking good. A little breezy on Saturday. But other than that, things are looking up.
All right. We're ending our day well, too. We'll see you tomorrow.